You're watching the Ram Pump Wizard. In today's video, I'm exploring the possibilities of running the hydraulic ram pump underwater. Now there are a couple reasons you might want to do this. You can reduce the sound you hear from the waste valve when the pump is submerged. However, it doesn't reduce the sound of the drive pipe as it clicks back and forth. A second reason you might want to put the ram pump underwater is if your creek is bigger and you want to submerge the pump and lock it down to the bottom of your creek floor. Now keep in mind that the drop under the water doesn't count as head pressure. So if your creek is falling slowly and then you sink the pump another foot under the water, that last foot doesn't increase the head pressure. All right, let's get into the video. Will the ram pump work underwater? And the answer is yes, it will. A few years ago, I tested out a large ram pump underwater and it worked. But the secret is the water source has to come from above where the pump is located. So in my previous test, I had the pump down in a little pond, and then the pond above it was feeding the ram pump. That's the catch. So if you put this into a lake, it's just not gonna work. But in this video, I wanna find out what's the benefit of running the ram pump underwater. I've got a bucket here filled to the top with water, coming down a 3/4 inch drive pipe, comes down basically about 3 feet of head pressure into this little pond. What I'm gonna do is a couple of things. I'm gonna hook up the ram pump and test out whether it works underwater or not. And then I'm gonna use this pressure gauge to find out what pressure it builds up to with about 1.5 minutes of operation, depending on how much water it's gonna be using, maybe more like a minute. And then I'm gonna use this delivery pipe to come up to the top of this little structure here and see a flow rate based on no water versus water. So our first test, I'm just going to be hooking this up here into the dry pond, and we will run our tests and get our values, and then we'll come back with this thing full to the top and get our values again. Test one is going to be for pressure. I'm going to go ahead and open the drive pipe, fill this thing up. Need to make sure that there is no air in the line. I can hear it bubbling over here. Okay, the drive pipe is air-free, and we're starting at this point right here. Let's go ahead and get this primed, and I will start the timer, and we'll see what we get here. So as soon as this thing begins to prime, all right, we start the timer. Let this go for 1 minute and we'll see what our pressure builds up to. Now typically I should be able to get somewhere between 15 and 20 psi in this setup. Now remember, this is a closed delivery pipe. All right, there we go at 1 minute. Stop that, stop that. So it may be difficult for you to see, but it is at 32 psi down there. Okay, data point number 2, bucket is full again. Drive pipe, of course. This time I have the delivery pipe going up to the top of this structure and comes back down to this little container. So I'm going to time for 1 minute and see what kind of water volume we get in that 1 minute time. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on and start the timer. We may have a back pressure issue. Not only a back pressure issue, but a siphoning issue. It was just siphoning straight on through the pump and out here. So I guess what I have to do is pull this back a little bit and just have it free fall here. I just need to be quick to come back and start capturing the water. Okay, let's try this. Delivery pipe comes back up the structure here and then to this point right here. So hopefully it will maintain a back pressure and not start a siphon. Okay. Very strong flow rate at this level. All right, there we have it. So what I'm going to do here with this bucket is use a Sharpie and say that this level right here is not under. Okay, the next step is to fill this little pond up with water. My storage tanks from my ram pump up the hill have about 100 gallons, so not sure how long it's going to take. I also placed a rock here because I'm pretty sure that this pump is going to try and float. I now have my little pond full of water as best I can. It's kind of on the slope here. So it's time to turn on the delivery pipe and see what kind of results we get as far as pressure on this first test. Okay, so the plan is to turn on this valve and start the timer just like before. So I'm gonna reach down here. Okay, let's get a couple of primes in here. Okay, all right, we're going. I'm glad that started, or this would have been a really uneventful video. But as you can see, it is working quite nicely underwater. It's quite a snap it's got going on here in the drive pipe. Okay, and that's time. Go ahead and stop that. Let's see if I can read the pressure gauge down in here. Okay, I doubt you can see that from the glare, but what I'm reading is it's only at 24 psi. So it is actually significantly reduced pressure than it was before. Almost by 10 psi. Okay, let's go reset our bucket and get our flow rate test. Okay, time to get this thing going uphill and we'll see what kind of flow we get out at the top. Go ahead and get this primed before I start the stopwatch. There we go. Okay, let's head over here to the output and see what we get. Still quite a nice stream flowing through there, which is a good sign, but is it the same as before? Okay, and time. Go ahead and make sure this is stopped here. Hey look, we finally overflowed the tub. That is really, really close. Probably the difference between whether or not the delivery pipe was fully primed or not. So I am actually satisfied that that is equal with the previous test there. So our results were, whenever this was empty, it had 32 psi. And it had just ever so slightly more water on the output volume. Whenever it's full, it had 24 psi, which is 8 less, and it supplied basically the same amount of water at the top. So I'm not exactly sure why the pressure was different, but the volume output was the same. Could have been some variation in my test setup. But I think it pretty much shows that, yes, the pump will work underwater, and it works well enough, I do believe. So further testing might be required with a higher delivery pipe to see if it actually does decrease as the height goes up with the underwater pump. But for now, I would like to go ahead and just conclude that it's great. Go ahead and put your pump underwater if you need to. I have a feeling that the only real benefit to putting the pump underwater is if you have a larger creek and you need to have the pump underwater just to maintain your head pressure. But also, having the pump underwater can reduce the sound that the check valve makes whenever it clicks. I don't know if you heard or not, but you could still hear the pressure wave going back and forth in the drive pipe, but the valve itself didn't have that iconic click, which I can actually show you again real quick here. Let's go ahead and close the delivery totally, which means it's going to hit a little bit hard, but we can still get a decent sound in here. So that's not the sound of the valve, that's the sound of the drive pipe popping against the side of this little pond. But you can still hear the noise that the drive pipe makes as it cycles. Okay, I think that's pretty much going to conclude this underwater ram pump test. I hope you found this video helpful. It is possible to operate the ram pump underwater. Now you'll see that I had that little issue where my delivery pipe went up over the playhouse and back down, and a siphon was created. So ignore that, and just keep in mind that you can definitely run the pump underwater, and it does reduce the sound, but it does not increase the head pressure. I'm Seth, the Ram Pump Wizard, and I'll see you in the next video.